What the heck is going on, everybody? Welcome back to season 3 of Metal Massacre. Somehow we're alive and we're here. Indeed, I am your still Tsar of Gnar, along with Lucian, the weirdo with the beardo. We're happy to be here. Keep this one pretty quick off the top, and let me be honest, it's because Happy New Year. I know we're behind that, but
we're
glad we all made it
holiday
through.
break. It's been a minute, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, Dusty, but like I felt so weird not podcasting for like a month or two.
Well, it did break it up. It did break it up because there was still, we've had recordings like all this, like the thing we're going to do today with Tyler from Traitors, and then a couple other episodes already in the can. But the grind where we have to we need something out. We're doing production. Getting out of the mind space, be like, I'll record a podcast on Saturday. That's so much more low key than everything we've been doing lately. So it does feel weird, but it feels good to be back. We're in the virtual studio today.
Yep, because it's getting cold here in Nebraska. We're waiting for a snowstorm, so we figured, hey, let's just stay home, stay warm and cozy in our studios, and we'll do it from home here. But yeah, I don't know. I remember being at your house and being like, hey, man, it's been weird not podcasting. Like, I'm so happy we're back for season 3 because I love having breaks. Creatively, it's nice, but sometimes I'm just like, ugh, I got to get back on the horse. You know what I mean? And it can be harder at times than other times. I'm excited this season because I feel like we had a little break that kind of made us appreciate the show, and when you don't have something in front of you every single day, it's easy to let it go by the wayside and forget about it. But in the last week, I've been really psyching myself up, I guess. So it's just, I'm happy to be back.
No, hell yeah, dude. No, I feel the same way. Like I said, I think there's a lot of music feels that way. Like you feel like you're slacking. You feel like you're fucking off when you're not constantly in the mix.
Sure.
And there is a truth to that. But then when you are still getting stuff done, you really appreciate the time that you had. I think that speaks true to pretty much every fucking facet of entertainment, whether you're a comedian on the road or and music, doesn't matter, man, once you get out of it. But I didn't prep you, but I'm going to take a little.
Didn't prep me.
A little Happy New Year.
Cheers.
I'm sure you got one too. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah, it's been nice. And honestly, last thing I'll say about the break is creatively it's nice. We put ourselves under some stress with this show and with a lot of the stuff we do just because we want to put out enough, but we want the quality to be good too. And when you're concerned with quality and quantity, it's easy to burn out. So it was nice to kind of recharge the batteries and come back. And we got a lot of stuff planned for this season. I know last episode we touched that we're going to start doing more local spotlights. We're going to start talking to more bands that have made waves from the Midwest. I'm excited for that. And I've had a lot of people reach out and be like, hey, you should have me on your show. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. People are starting to notice. People are starting to okay, this is a thing, and oftentimes with TV shows, movies, any of that, specifically TV shows, you might release a show and no one knows for 2 seasons. And then all of a sudden people get into it and they're like, holy shit, this is good. And they have so much to catch up on, and I think we're seeing a lot of that now as people are finding out about it. And it's hey, we've been doing this since June of last year.
Straight up.
So it's fun to kind of meet up with people in real life or hear things from them about hey, I really appreciate that See You Next Tuesday interview you guys did. And I'm like, damn, I didn't know anyone even knew about that. Right, I appreciate that. I'm catch up. We got so much more coming out. So thank you to all of you guys who have supported us. And whether you're listening to one episode and just checking it out because you like the band we're talking about, or you're the guy from Lincoln that Dustin talked to that has listened to every single episode, dude, we appreciate you just giving us a chance.
And shout out to him. I wish I had your name right in front of me. So I'll just be like, it's Tim. I have no, but he was in the band Dirt Fed, who actually toured with Slipknot in back in their early days. He's a really cool dude and actually just hopped on a podcast himself. So yeah, go check out some old Dirt Fed. Honestly, it's really good. I enjoy it. And and it's just funny who you run into and who gets into your DMs when you're doing this kind of stuff. But
I mean, we just played a show 2 days ago as of this recording. We played the Viscerous album. I don't even want to see. It's not an EP. It's an album. 20 fucking songs. Eviscerate, that album just dropped on Friday, and we did the kind of show party with them. And God, that was fun. But I had a couple people from different bands that popped up, and they're like, "Hey, you should have me on." And I'm like, I just might. It's really fun. So thank you to everyone in Omaha who came out to that January 3rd show at the waiting room. That was a good time. I think the crowd was primed and ready to go by the time we got off the stage.
Oh, yeah.
Time. Dudes jumping off the stage, which it always makes me like.
We got a couple stage divers. We had a Viking row pit happening in the middle. There was a couple hundred people that showed up to the thing.
People rowing behind each other, just in a row of rowing. Dude. And I remember just being like, this isn't even the Viking song we do. This is crazy.
We all have the big bearded aesthetic, except for Jake. We love Jake.
Jake's got the baby face.
Yeah, he's like our 30-something-year-old dad of 2 12-year-old cousin.
Yeah.
No, we love Jake quite a bit, and we're still planning on having the Molten guys here in the show just so you can actually hear from us and let people pick on us for once.
But let us get some stuff done first this season. Let us get warmed up and we'll work our way to it. I think that'd be something nice to do maybe towards the mid to late part of this season. That'd be cool.
If we can get Jim a little fire under his ass. I'm just talking shit because I know Jim has actually listened to our show a little bit, so I appreciate you, Jim. But yeah, we had Pariah on as like one of our first guests, and he's like he's a producer for their album, so we were able to get in. And my dad's known Jim for a long fucking time. Jim Holman at Arc Studios, the goddamn man. So once that's done, like again, we have all of our songs put out there. We have to go back and do a couple of things. Molten will have an album, probably an EP. We're writing that. You just said like it's not an EP because it's like 20 songs for them, but EPs usually 4 or 5. We're gonna have like 6, maybe 7, depending on how much we get done. That's like tiptoeing into album range, but who gives a fuck? I'm not putting labels on anything.
Yeah.
What I did want to do, which I didn't brief you on, was just shout out a few things that I'm excited for this year, like mainly in January, because you know me, I like doing the grilling. I like doing
for sure.
First of all, there are a trillion albums that are coming out pretty much every fucking day worldwide, but shout out to Loudwire real fast. Obviously, not like we're with them, but they put together a really, really good list that I had popped up a couple of days ago. I was just looking for, I was like, what should I be listening to for the show and stuff like that. But actually, as of this recording being out, there's a Paleface Swiss. Now, if you don't know who those are, it's modern tech death. Really good. Paleface Swiss is coming out with an album called Cursed under Blood Blast Records. I really recommend checking that out because by this recording it's already out. So I checked that out. It's fucking raw. I would look forward to that. Stick to Your Guns is coming back. Nice. They're gonna have an album called Keep Planting Flowers. Moon Wizard is a band that I really love. And they have an album called Sirens. I'm running through these really fast, but there's a whole bunch of them. You can find this really easy, like I said, on Loudwire. And shout out to who published this? It just says Loudwire staff. I think this is a collaboration between all of them. They're like Jeff Tremonti and the band Just Tremonti is coming out with The End Will Show Us How. It's on Napalm Records. Only a couple more here. They are releasing Wasp, Fuck Like a Beast, that old album from like the 80s and 90s. They the Seven Savage from 84 to 92. They're putting out a box set from all this stuff from their time on the road, a la kind of like The Dirt. Not like a fictional representation, but Wasp is like having like a big release of old school thrash heads, old school, fans of stuff like Napalm Death and that kind of shit. Like look for that. And there's only a couple more I just wanted to spit out to you because, again, there's a million bajillion. Pentagram is actually putting out something on the end of January called Lightning in a Bottle from Heavy Psych Sound Records.
Ooh.
And then Dream Theater has something planned called Parasomnia, along with, where's the last one I really wanted to highlight? Laguna Coil, actually, which is pretty funny. Sleepless Empire off of Century Media. That's in February. So we're looking ahead now, and I kind of want to cut it there because we'll have plenty more times to do this kind of stuff, but most importantly,
just to throw in, but after you're done,
go ahead.
Do your last one.
Killswitch Engage, This Consequence from Metal Blade Records, end of February.
Nice. I did not see that coming. There's a lot of that coming out lately. A lot of I did not see that coming happening lately.
So I thought it'd be fun to do this little list because I was like, dude, as I was just trying to grab stuff for the show, I was like, no shit.
Right.
Like, more and more and more.
My most anticipated is probably what Spirit World is cooking up right now. They released Western Stars and the Apocalypse single. And I think that's the debut track from their new album of the same name. But I'm really curious to see what they're doing, because Death Western, their last album in 22, was just such a strong album for me that it really sunk me into that band, and especially with that album. So I'm curious to see if I'm going to like the new album. I dig the new song. I will say it's not anything new for the band, the new song. It doesn't feel like this next album is going to be something really different than the last album, but I think that's a good thing. I'm just like, I want to see what else happens. You know, I'm very like skeptical, but at the same time, I like the brand, so we'll see. So that's one I'm watching. I don't know when the album drops. I have no fucking clue, but I know they just released that track like last month. So
yeah, no, I love Spirit World here. We'd love to talk to Stu and all the other guys if we can.
We've been trying to make it work for years. Yeah, we almost did for a minute, and he was literally last spring like, I'm in the studio. You just let me do my thing. And I was like, hey, dude, just let us know when you're done. And they just released one track.
So long time
like
coming.
8 months later. So like it's going to be
a
minute. But yeah, that's definitely someone we'd love to have on the show. So.
But I will say, and again, we just wanted to come in here and say, hey, here's some albums to look forward to. Thank you for supporting us, and it's time for season 3. We have Tyler from Traitors. Traitors is putting out, most importantly of all of these, Traitors has a new album called Phobias that's coming out the 21st of February. You can pre-order it now. You can do a stream release. You can do all that stuff. And Tyler the Dominator, which will make sense later. He was gracious enough to pop in with us and hang out with us like mid-December. Was when that was recorded. So he was super stoked. They just got done with the road. Their album, honestly, from what I've been able to hear, hits really fucking hard. And they have a bunch of new merch that's coming out with like a lot of different, I'll let, you know what? I'm going to tell, instead of telling you, go look at their website, go support their stuff, go click on their stuff, go subscribe and do all the things, because at the end of the day, obviously that's what we're also here to do, or do presser runs. But I was actually really stoked to hear new music from Traitors, and to be able to have him on the show and be so candid, which we'll get into the interview with, was really fucking cool. But again, speaking of albums to release, that is why we had them on the show, and specifically Tyler. Again, February 21st, the new album Phobias drops, and they got a pretty sweet merch line that looks like it's coming up with it too. So if you're a fan of some sludgy ass, heavy with elements that obviously continue to iterate, like you were just saying, like here's more of the same, but just like a good chef, I have my craft, I have my skills, but I'm going to make it the way that I make it. And this is exactly what we're going to do. But like I said, I just wanted to pop in real fast with you guys, say Happy New Year, have a little drinky poo with you guys, waste 10 minutes, because the most important thing we're doing is going to be able to talk with him. So as Lucian expressed before I let you shut it down before we go, is we're going to have quite an eclectic group on this season is our plan, where we've always tried to do that and mix up the metal, whether it's hardcore or grindcore or blah, 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 name your piece. But we've got a few high profile things on the books, while along with doing exactly like we promised in our last episode from season 2 to be, here comes a lot more ground roots and some of our friends and some stuff that you already know about these bands, but now you should look at these bands. And that's really what we're going to try and accomplish this season, I think is the best way to put it.
Oh yeah. The net is just getting wider and wider, and we're catching more and more good shit in that net. And I'm just excited to see where we head up with it. So guys, enjoy this interview. This was a fun one. Leave us some mail after you listen to it on Spotify. We'd love to hear from you. Get the fuck out of here. Go. What is going on, metalheads? Welcome back to the gnarliest show on the fucking internet. I'm the weirdo with the beardo, Lucian. With me, the czar of gnar, Dustin himself. Today we got a special guest in studio with us, in our virtual studio, if you will. It's Tyler from Traitors. How you doing, bud?
I'm good, man. I want a nickname.
What would your nickname be?
Well, nothing really rhymes with Tyler.
It doesn't have to rhyme with your name.
Ty the guy.
Ty the guy.
Big Ty the metal guy. I don't know.
What's up, guys?
Not much, dude. I'll just say, like, do you like, I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. He's obviously, he's got the nickname because he's got the big beard. I fucking like skating, snowboarding, and that kind of stuff. So I was like, I guess Tsar of Gnar makes sense. Do you got what's your? You said you got a gaming room, a sewing room. Tyler the Creator's already taken, I guess. But like, fuck.
Tyler the Loomer. I don't know.
Yes, dude. The loom. Well, hey, first of all, thanks for being here, dude. Appreciate your time. You guys have been super busy, it looks like, and recording, and we're gonna get it all to that fun stuff. But again, as always, you're based out of sunny Tampa, Florida. Is that where you're at now?
That's where I'm living right now. Yeah.
Yeah, we are going through a fucking ice storm. I was literally just like sliding down my shit all the way down my driveway today, trying to do anything, and it's been brutal. But hey, that's that time of year. So
yeah,
God, I want to go to Florida so bad.
I'd say it's. I've never seen snow here.
Really?
Yeah, my whole life.
That's awesome.
It's mainly living in like South Florida, Southwest Florida. I mean, I've it's maybe gotten to like 20, 28 down here, 26 down here once in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's always nice.
That's true. But dude, so first of all, you guys we're in wait to get the new album, Phobias, and that's coming out in February. And we banked this a little bit ahead of time, so there's still gonna be plenty of time for people to pre-order, pre-save, and do all of that. But first of all, to have another full album come out, congrats. Like takes a shitload of effort. We're aware, and we know that talking to everybody, it's like no matter what level, what stage you're at, it's a toll. It's taxing, and you guys have a big tour planned from March to April. 3 songs already out. I think they fucking rip.
Thank you.
How are you guys? How are you doing coming out of that and into what you're doing? I was obviously optimistic as you can be, but how are we feeling?
I mean, I've been feeling. I mean, I've been feeling good. Obviously, after the long absence stint of not having a full length out, between all the power struggles and the ups and downs and Traitors and, kind of having to re-oil the machine this past like year and a half, 2 years. I'm good. I'm 32 now, and I've been doing this for. I'm on decade 1.
It's a fun way to put it.
Just got past decade 1, if you will. We're on year 11, but I feel pretty good. I feel really confident about the album for sure. I've already got my sights set ahead to keep producing and writing music with my guys too, though. So we don't make a mistake like this again or let something like this happen. So.
Well, it's a good problem to have, I suppose, where like if you're already in the can thinking ahead and going to the future. But hey, man, like, dude, like I said, it's ups and downs, and we can get into whatever you want to get into. But at the same time, it's such a struggle to be able. First of all, the style nowadays is releasing singles, and you release a bunch of singles, and then you make it an EP, and then you do this, and then you do this. So many people just stick to the EP format. To actually come out with like a full-fledged track album and I have shit in the can, like I said, good problem to have if you want to put it that way. And no one could blame you guys for not having music for a while, dude. That's life.
I would almost rather a band take the time to make a whole album than just throw out like 3 EPs in 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, like, and we every band we talk to kind of has this this thing that they harken back to every time, where it's like you're crafting an experience, right? Like whether it's your live presence or your album or the content of the album or how it flows, or if you're using interludes or skits or anything else, you're always crafting an experience. And for me, you just get way more of a band through an album. It's the difference between watching a TV show and watching a full-fledged movie, in my opinion. So like, I'm happy you guys are sticking to that album route. And I mean, it's been since 2019, but I mean, one could argue in the realm of music that really hasn't been that long when you look at the track record. I mean, you guys have been pretty consistent with your albums from 2015 to 2019. Hasn't really skipped a beat. So I mean, in one way or another, I feel like you all have deserved that bit of creative respite, if you will. It allows you the opportunity to actually like sit down, slow down, and reassess the next 10 years. So I'm sure in that way it was probably a good thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, there was obviously some positives to it. At first, like around 2020, when all the COVID BS started happening, I'm like, all right, this is kind of like a once in a lifetime career halftime on.
Yeah,
I'll take some time off, but I feel like I got too. Well, the team, that I was with at the time, I feel like we got too complicit, or we got too comfortable, and obviously we were pushing out decent content, for the past 10, 11 years, but I don't know, something just didn't sit right with me with Repent. It didn't come from the heart. There was a lot of, hey, rewrite this. Hey, rewrite this. Rewrite this. Rewrite this. Hey, we gotta revise this. And we were kind of getting into this stage where it was like, are we writing for us, or are we writing to follow other people's footsteps? Because I don't have time for that. I mean,
yeah,
and my big thing right now too, especially with what we have coming out, it feels more like a baby to me, like Anger Issues and Night Terrors and Hate Campaign did.
Okay.
This kind of has that same vibe. I almost feel like I'm revisiting my parts of my career with this new music. This is definitely a successor. The new one is definitely a successor of Night Terrors. It has the same color scheme. It has this, person laying in bed, everybody kind of falling in on them. Some of the single art kind of shows that and foreshadows that. So this one just feels really genuine to me. Lyrically, especially. I'm back in my spot again, and I have creative control of what I write. So like all the content that I wrote for this album is from 100% from me, as it's always been meant to be. So
it almost feels like this new album is you breaking out of that complacency, and breaking out of that comfort zone, if so to speak, but also kind of getting in touch with your roots.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, like, to come full circle like that is kind of a rare thing in music. So many times we listen to a band, and how many times do you hear, yeah, I like that band, but then, here's where they fell off for me, or, oh, their first two albums were what I really loved, and this stuff, not so much. Like, it's nice to have a chance to kind of get back to the things that you like as a musician. And like, I don't know, man, the more I think about COVID, the more I think like, yeah, it sucked. And look at all the terrible shit that happened. And like, it slowed down a lot of things. Some things fell off the wayside forever and aren't coming back. But
yeah,
I feel like you look at like movie theater, everything that has changed so much, but at the same time, like, it has allowed us the opportunity to really like shake things up and like reassert ourselves in the scene, So I think that's awesome. Like, I'm excited for this album because hearing that it's more genuine is definitely, I think, what people want to hear. That's like, they want to know it's from the heart. It's from you, So like, God, I'm fucking excited for that. Sorry, I just wanted to say that. That's fucking
thank
cool.
you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I honestly feel like it's gonna kind of create like a revisitation of the other successful releases we've had. I mean, at the end of the day, I was kind of, especially for Repent, it just kind of felt like I was mad at somebody, and I was also trying to be this like tough guy persona, and like. I do what I do on stage, and however that comes out, it comes out. But when it comes to like lyrical stuff, especially, it's got to come from a certain place. And once I kind of get into a groove, everything kind of conceptualizes itself around it. And that's how we felt. I actually had somebody write Phobias that was a major fan of Night Terrors, and it's just a full circle moment, and his name's Luke. He's very, very talented guy. And him and Alan, I mean, just sat there till the wee hours in the morning. Most of the time it was Luke and I up super duper late. Alan's a bit of an earlier bird than we are, but I mean, to get into the vibe for this album, I locked myself away in a spare room at my parents' house for like 6 months and just said, "Hey, nothing personal. I need y'all to leave me alone.
Yeah,
just let me be here. I don't want people to know that I'm in town. I just want to sit in this fucking room until all this shit's done." I was very locked in, and definitely resurfaced a few things. Not like it's a bad thing, you know. I've gotten over a lot of the issues that I used to have, because like I said, a lot of it comes from a dark place. I mean, we're in metal music, you know. It's definitely not all fucking rainbows and
right.
But
that's very true, man.
I mean, I've definitely heard it before, though. When you make an album from that kind of a place, it's typically not something you look back on fondly. I mean, Randy Blythe put it a good way. We asked him about Sacrament, and he was like, that's not really an album I care for, because there was a lot of drama and bad things happening, and it was very mean spirited. So it's like, it can make for a really good I want to say phase or evolution of a band, but it's like, I've never heard someone in a band that has an album with that sense be like, yeah, that's my favorite album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I get you, man.
I did want to ask, because, and I'm glad that you said that again. So I guess spiritually, if you want to put it that way, lyrically, you're back in your space and you're locked in, and that's awesome. Listening to, again, because I think, and maybe you agree, but I think a lot of people online were like Night Terrors was them at like their highest at the time that when you guys are writing some of the older albums. And when I listen to the newer stuff, so the 3 tracks I have out right now, they're available to us: SBC, Release, and Break. I really like Release, because what I think a lot of bands do, a good successful band is able to iterate on what they've already done without, and some bands want to change their style completely. If you have to, go ahead. And some bands want to keep it the same. And if you give more of what is great. But I think any really good band that challenges themselves sees growth in the same patterns. And so what I'm seeing is the things that you guys have done really, really well and are your staples, your trademarks, exemplified. But what I feel is a little bit maybe evolved is actually your vocal style. That's what stuck out to me the most, is that instead of just a lot of guttural lows and just not being backhanded, I'm noticing a lot more like almost like hardcore hitting style chanting vocals, even some highs and the lows and the same gutturals. I guess what I'm asking is, was that a conscious effort? Is that was just something that was coming out in the style? Is it something you want to revamp? Because you are something that immediately popped out to me being like, oh, this is heavier and this is a little bit different than what has normally been thrown at us from this band.
Yeah. Honestly, I was raised by 2 older sisters that had me in hip hop big time when I was just a little kid. So the repetitious, there's like some stuff that I say a lot in, if you listen to the background, there's actually many nods to the music that got me started, and which is so fun for me because I've tried to do this for a long time. And like I said, there was just, certain moments or certain groups, certain decisions made by our party that were like, we should redo this. We should redo like that. That's all gone. Honestly, like, I mean, I do a nod to a Tribe Called Quest, but the cool thing about these is they come out and they're kind of like thought loops that I have. And I'm like, how else can I, without being like, I deal with thought loops all the time, how can I present it on a Traitors album? So I just do them. I just say things that get stuck in my head a little bit, and I just put them on the track. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, there's a couple of them. Release has The Terrors Are Stuck in My Head. That's a nod to Night Terrors. With permission, I hit up somebody that asked me to do guest vocals 11 years ago. And they gave me permission to basically take the lyrics from that one of the first guest vocals I ever did, and I implemented it into the new album as kind of like a thank you to where I am today.
Hell yeah, dude.
There's a lot of little Easter eggs, and I think that keeps it fun for me. But it also really just like, it really gets the point across, like the aggression but I really like the thought loops things and the hip hop vibe. Trauma Bond is one of my favorite tracks on the album. Have you guys listened to the full album or just what's come out so far?
We've only been able to
so far.
Yeah, okay. We weren't gifted any pre-release stuff, which is okay. Like I said, we get them sometimes, we don't. But yeah, all we have is the 3 that are available at the moment. But yeah, from listening from what I have, especially from tracks that you're saying you really enjoy, I'm fucking stoked to listen to this whole thing. Obviously. Yeah,
for sure, man. I'll have to sneak you guys a peek after the little interview and shit too. So
great, man.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I really like the, and I was saying this a few days ago, wrestling especially, I love entertainment. I've always loved entertainment, no matter what, even if I'm still doing Traitors or not, I'll always entertain.
Sure.
That's what my dream is. Honestly, I feel like Traitors is my first egg in my basket, and I've got many other opportunities that I want to try. As I get older, Traitors will probably always be my metal baby, no matter what. But
that's great, man.
Yeah, I definitely. There's definitely like so much that I want to do to entertain. And when you listen to a lot of new music and you see wrestling, there's two things that it has in common. It's easy for the crowd to finally say shit back to you. Back in the day, you had to be really creative, like lyrically for like vocal pileups. But now we're just getting one fucking word lyrics where, look at Kublai, they're crushing it right now. And their song 2, he says 2. I bet you everybody in that bitch says 2.
It's like one big fucking
Yeah. And then you look at wrestling. Stone Cold had what? LA Knight has Daniel Bryan had yes. The Usos have yeet.
Yeah.
One word responses are blowing up right now.
They are.
They're blowing up. And I love shit like that because crowd control is the number one key to the success of, in entertainment. Obviously we're just playing deathcore, but it still works. It still implements like whenever we're playing a festival or something and I get on that stage, people are like, all right, they're a breakdown band, let's see what happens. And I try to control the crowd as soon as I get up there.
Yeah.
I will use wrestling.
It's the energy game. You're playing with energy. You're playing a game of catch with the audience.
Absolutely.
And if you're hyped enough, then they're hyped enough. Then them being hyped enough hypes you up even more. And it just keeps going back and forth until, fuck, man, you're in an arena or you're in you're either at a wrestling event or you're at a show and you can feel the energy when it gets that high. It almost feels like you're almost in fight or flight mode. Like you're like something crazy is going to happen. It's what I suspect people feel in like huge, I guess, like catastrophes.
Yeah.
And like big negative experiences. Like, God forbid you go to a fucking Walmart and there's a dude fucking doing crazy shit or whatever and threatening people. But like, it's that heightened sense of awareness that you get from that moment. Yeah. It's the adrenaline rush. And like we play in a band too. And like when we play shows, we try to be as weird and crazy and off the wall as possible. I'm looking for shit to jump off of and spitting on my guitarist and fucking punching the ground, just being a weirdo. Because if I can make someone look at what we're doing and go, what the fuck is going on? And then run into the pit, it's like,
that's what you want.
It's that whole next level, that next plateau that I feel like we play with so many bands that I'm like, this is good, but dude, just fucking like somebody throw a pie, you're like, something happened,
No, I feel you.
It's life draining for me to go to a concert and be like, dude, I'm fucking tired. And not because I'm moving, but because I'm bored as fuck. So like, I can really appreciate your sense of like appreciation for entertainment in that way. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, what are some other hats that you would love to wear? Like, would I ever see you in an amateur wrestling ring or something like that?
Honestly, I would definitely in some way love to do any sort of wrestling show, but obviously nowadays, especially with how many people are trying to get into wrestling, and how many people are going to like Devon's camp and Cody Rhodes camp, they'll beat the shit out of you, like not like beat you up, but they'll wear you down and try to fizzle out the numbers to see who's really there for real. Honestly, I would love to be a manager for a wrestler.
That'd
So somebody who's like not as strong behind the microphone and kind of push that person and help them develop. And I've always loved being an ideas guy. I've always been behind gimmicks. Not the most athletic in the universe, but you don't gotta be. I'm 6'6".
Strengths,
Yeah,
I'll just say you're a big boy, dude.
Yeah, I'm 6'6". I got 4 speed and 9.5 power. That's how it worked in Def Jam Vendetta. So you know what I mean? So there are ways, but yeah, there's I've got a few things cooking. I'm working on some dad rock right now too.
What?
I mean, I'm just
Yes.
yeah. Oh, it's sick. It's pretty sick. But yeah, there's just a lot of things I'm trying to delve into, and keep the same vibe I had in 2013. Because when I was that age, I was careless. I was fucking broke as hell. I was living with probably 5 or 6 people and because it's cheap. I was paying like $200 a month in rent.
Yep.
So
we were just talking about that phase of our lives the other day.
Yeah.
We were literally just talking about. You remember when we lived in like the weirdest places and had like 7 people in our house and
everybody 7 people in a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
One of my buddies at the time, I'll keep it short, but like it was Beleth around here, but like they went on tour and their guitarist lived with me, and like I thought that they were out for that. They're just like, it's just one of those things. It's fun to look back on now, but like fuck, it's like 2:30 in the morning, and basically like a van shows up, and then there's like 8 rowdy fucks, like a tour manager who hasn't brushed his teeth in 3 weeks, a bunch of grody dudes that just got off the road trying to blow up a bathroom. Like, I mean, and at the same time, it was fun, but I was like dead asleep, and then now there's just a war zone in my living room with a bunch of goofballs that just got off the road. Like that kind of shit. I mean, looking back, fun, yeah, but like, yeah, fun, hard, heavy quotes, brother. Like, but at the same time, that shit always rules. Looking back at that kind of stuff,
yeah, for sure.
I always like to ask again as well, because we got plenty of more music stuff we could talk about. But you've already alluded that, like I said, you're in your gaming room. You love wrestling. You like entertainment in general, dude. So I mean, like, I guess outside of because you've been super busy in the creative space, obviously the answer would be watching a lot of wrestling and stuff like that. But what do you do, man, in your free time? We always like to get a feel for people that they come on the show and we're human beings. I'm a huge gamer. We've been playing a fuckload of Helldivers too since we got announced yesterday. So we're all excited because we're both playing. He plays a lot of WoW. Like, what are some of your favorite hobbies besides when you're not having to focus on music and you're off tour?
Yeah, so if I'm off tour and I really don't have much to do, you're gonna catch me in this chair quite a lot. I definitely like playing games with my guys. Honestly, sometimes I feel like video games are a bit of a placeholder just because I like to be around my friends, and we all live in separate places now, and it's much easier just to hit up the boys on Discord and fart around, share. We like to share ideas a lot, kind of keep each other up. But yeah, I mean, I really like playing games. I go camping like at least once a month. My family's got some property up in northern Florida, so go up there and shoot a couple guns, go to a few flea markets and tent camping.
Right up my alley, man. Yeah, because we're based out of Omaha, so I mean, like, camping's a little tougher.
Yeah, but the gun part probably not so much.
No, yeah, it's pretty easy here.
Yeah, we got a few, brother. We got a few.
Yeah,
everybody and their moms is packing.
Yeah, you can literally go to a flea market here and buy whatever gun you want on a handshake.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's ridiculous here. It's a lawless land of Florida, but I love it here. I'll probably end up getting buried here. So
that's awesome.
I visited a lot of places. I really just love living here the most. But yeah, I mean, I guess when it comes to games, I like incredibly lame ass ones. I like to call myself retired when it comes to competitive gaming. I just don't have that. I don't have that step. I've been trying to play Marvel Rivals. I'm decent at it. It's. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one.
Yeah, we have a buddy that's been trying to get us to play it for like 5-10 days, and I'm playing WoW.
It's like Overwatch and Smite. So if you don't like either of those games, literally don't waste your time.
That's true. I mean, I have it I have it downloaded. I'm looking at it every day. I'm like,
oh, I've been there.
I'll get to it.
I'll get to it. Yeah, I gotta cycle through my games first. I play a sickening amount of NHL Ultimate Team as well.
Fuck yeah, dude! I saw you're wearing like a hockey jersey, basically right now, kind of looking thing, right?
Oh yeah, it's a Dale Earnhardt football jersey.
Yeah.
Praise Dale.
Praise Hail, praise Dale.
Intimidator on both shoulders.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome.
Well, that'll be your nickname now, man. You're Tyler the Intimidator.
Tyler the Intimidator. Yep.
There you go. Love it. Least likely to intimidate, but
right, and that's the beauty behind it.
Yeah. One thing I'd really like to do is I really want to start learning how to box. I've always loved the sweet science. I've always watched it. I've always played it. I've studied it as a kid. Mike Tyson is one of my like hugest inspirations growing up, and his journey on being such an egocentric, negative person. You know, some of the things he would say, and you know, obviously with his past, it's like, can you ever come back from the things you've done? And you know, it seems like he's really come to terms with like with peace, and he's you know the whole boxing match, that wrestling match that we watched recently. I'd do the same. I'd do the same for my kids if I was 60 years old and somebody offered me a $30 million bag.
You're the bag, dude.
I'm doing it for my family, dog. So dude, it's just like
respect there for sure.
Yeah, it's almost like he's like, it's time to leave Iron Mike in the ring for good.
Yeah, and I think that was him closing the door.
Yeah, that feels nice. You know,
it's funny you say that. Dusty's a kickboxing instructor. Like he trains people to kickbox every day. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. My buddy, my buddy Dave, who was actually in Traitors from the start of it till about 2017.
Sure,
he's taken a lot of MMA, and it's definitely convinced me to just get myself more in shape and learn some discipline, because I just like to learn, and I just feel like it'd be beneficial and it'd be healthy for me, because honestly, we've had some really not so good confrontations on tour where I might need to defend myself, and I'm not really like a tough guy, but I want to be prepared and be there for if I need to provide, you know, safety for my boys. Like,
dude, if I had $1 for every time we played at a venue where some dude got his teeth kicked in the back alley while we were playing, I'd probably have enough to buy a new car. Like,
yeah, I feel
it's such a unfortunate circumstance in playing in venues. It's just like they're all,
you never know.
You never know. But like in a lot of the times you go to a venue, it may not be in like the best part of town, or it's like downtown in a big metropolis, and you're like, anything could happen. Like, I think about that more and more as I get older too. Like, I need to start taking some kind of self-defense class, or, you know, I don't want to get a gun because I'm not a gun guy.
I feel
my thing, but I'm more of a Home Alone booby trap my house guy, you know?
Right. Yeah, throw a pineapple at a dude on the street and just be like, walk on that motherfucker, dude.
Take it.
Yeah. We always have this joke too. It's like, finally, I have 10 years of training under my belt, and that guy has a gun. So
yeah, dude, like, what's it worth, man? You know, I highly suggest obviously getting into some, not just because it's my job and it's what I love. It's for the same reasons that you're saying. It's the last people in the room that want to fight are people that know how to fight. It's always someone popping off, or obviously drugs, alcohol. They get in the way too. I mean, like I'm having a Coors Light as we speak, but it's not like I'm gonna punch my goddamn TV. But like, that usually is a catalyst. I mean, I'll keep some stories in school, but like, I saw that. Well, speaking of that, like times on the road. I mean, like, fuck, if some basic research, one of the first articles that pops up is when your drummer at the time had to knock a dude out basically, and had to say smash his hand and had to pull out of a tour from something that was like probably like 6 years ago or something like that. But
yeah, we don't know what happened. That's what he was living in Vegas at the time, and I think he still is. But yeah, crazy story, right?
That shit, it pops off. And again, like, I mean, I guess the statute of limitations passed long enough. Story time.
It's actually 7 years, but
well, whatever. 7 years, 7 days. I don't give a fuck.
We check the oil tanks. That's where they are. Sorry.
I'll say this. I had basically one of the last shows we played here in Lincoln, because we're in Omaha, but we traveled down the road to go to Lincoln because the legendary band Overkill came through, and we were lucky enough to open for him. And I'll keep this short because this interview is about you, but it's very apropos that you were bringing that up, because literally it was about 12:30 in the morning. We're leaving. We had everything loaded up. We stayed for the whole show because we wanted to watch them. It's probably the last time they're going to tour. And so there was a guy that was trying to break into their green room, though, like straight up. He like basically rushed, waited all the way to the end. Security was putting away all the barriers. Guy was screaming for security. So I mean, like, I don't know. I have some boxing training, obviously, and I teach it. So I was like, if I can go mitigate at the very least, I will. And I ran up there, and this guy's got first of all, Overkill's old. So he had a 60-something-year-old man by the hair in a headlock, and his buddy was trying to push in the green room. And, you try, and like I said, last people that want to fight, people know how to fight. I don't really want to deal with it. But like you said, it was very much like these things happen and people get crazy. And this guy was obviously drunk as well. But, I ran up there and tried to stop it and he wouldn't stop. So we just gave him the good old what for, if you will. And I kind of have a little bit of a hole in my hand there, but he wasn't listening. He wasn't acting right. And it's like, again, if you, obviously you're not a 62-year-old man on tour, but like, God forbid, but like I said, you're a big dude and you're still running into those problems. So, I mean, yeah, any boxing training you can have. I mean, I guess it was a blessing that I was there for them, I suppose, at that time, because their poor little tour manager, he was a sweet dude. And I really want him to come back. He plays in a sick band in Philly himself, but he's all of like 5'5", 130, wet.
Yeah.
Pulled this guy off this guy. And I said, hey, man. And I had to give him one. And I didn't want to, but like at the same time,
you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Those things happen though. And again, heavy metal music gets people in a fucking mood. So like, again, you're not wrong to say you've probably ran into a few and you'll probably run into a few more. So, I mean, again, get into some boxing. It's a good stress reliever too. It's a lot of creativity. It always feels good after a workout. And there are so many slick boxing gyms down in Florida, especially around where you're at. Even ones that I know off the top of my head, like to send you some recs. Like if you don't already have a friend or a place to go, it's going to be super easy to get into where you're at. I would highly recommend it, dude. It'd be a good time.
Yeah, I honestly I feel like I'm finally getting to the point where I'm like ready to get more in shape. I'm ready to get more active. It's just like when you come home from tour, it's hard to reset that momentum because when I leave for tour, obviously the things that you learn like don't just go away immediately, but it's tough to leave and then come back and then get back into the swing of things. Working out on tour, I don't care who says it. It's tough. It's tough to do. It's tough to do. Most of those guys will wake up at 5 a.m. and be like, hey, I'm heading into the PF. Do you want to wake up and work out? It's like, fuck no.
No, dude,
get away from me. I just had Taco Bell at 3:30. No,
straight up though.
Yeah, I definitely, the one situation that I mean, I don't know if any amount of training would have helped for this situation, but we played Columbus, Ohio 2 tours ago. No surprise there. And we were driving and the onlet to the highway had 2 lanes that merged into one. Well, there was a vehicle stopped and somebody was outside of their vehicle and something was wrong with it allegedly. And the right side to get around them was coned off and there was a hole in the road. So they were parked right next to the hole. So if you tried to go around them, your vehicle fall into it. So we stopped and my new drummer's green and he's like, let me see what they need. And he opens the door and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, close the door. It's 12 o'clock at night. We don't know who these people are.
Right.
So he, the lights come on in the van and he just immediately closes it. As soon as the lights pop on, 3 people come out of the grass out of nowhere and they start walking towards the van. Some dude puts his hoodie up. And the guy who was driving is the worst at backing up at the time. There's nowhere to back up. So it felt like one of those dreams where it was just like, you need to back up. And it's like I'm stuck. And he's looking at this dude and he's going like 2 miles an hour, like, I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, someone's dead. I'm like, Joey, fucking hit the guy with the vehicle.
Yeah.
If you got to hit him with the vehicle, do it. He's getting too close. Thank God. He's, we're backing up and I'm like, all right, we're out of there. He's like, the trailer's jackknifing. I have to go forward again.
Yeah.
Towards everybody. I'm like, awesome, dude. This is why we learned all this awesome shit. But eventually other cars started pulling up and those guys went back to their vehicle and acted like, oh, I mean, we're good. There, we were definitely about to get jacked. We're about to get mugged or jacked. That dude, I mean, you could just see it. Light blue hoodie, way down above the eyes. hands in the pockets. I'm like, dude, I don't have time for this right now. Like,
12 in the morning.
Just hit the guy.
Fucking hit the gas. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I don't care if he's cool or not. You're just gonna have to hit him. You don't approach somebody's vehicle this time.
Just hit that guy.
Yeah, and like as much as I'd love to carry on tour, I mean, if you're going through like California, and if you got to go into Canada, and then you got to claim it, and then this, and it's just it's a real hassle. It's a real hassle for sure.
Oh, dude. Yeah, no, I could only imagine, brother. Like I said, the more time you spend on the road, the more experience you get, for the better or the worse. But
yeah,
just to bring it back to, not like we're going anywhere bad. We're having fun. I'm having a good time. I do want to bring up this next tour that you guys have planned, though.
Yeah.
So you're headlining in 2025, and you're bringing Crown Magnetar and Yosemite in Black. And I just want to say, first of all, I saw Yosemite in Black from the like popular LCY black and white cut that they did, where they played a couple of songs. That's how I found out about them, I think like last year. And that video blew up. They've got, that Lawn Chair Youth, they do a good job of being able to highlight bands, where I found Brat, a couple other bands like that too. But how did you find these guys? Because again, they're in Georgia, so I mean, I'm sure it's not too far. I think I said they're Atlanta based, but how did you find both these bands to bring with? And like, obviously musical styles, sure, but what was the collab process there, kind of?
Well, honestly, I feel like a lot of people, to start from scratch, a lot of people really don't like change, and especially when it comes to social media, they're like, oh, this new app's out and I don't care for it. I'm not going to download it and post the same things I would be posting. And I feel like that's where a lot of people fuck up right now. And this is because the reason why I booked them is their social media presence on TikTok was so strong. And I discovered them probably about when that song came out, and I'm like, it's there. The energy's there. The vibe is there with the vocalist. Like, those guys have it all put together. But TikTok is the most important for bands that are, especially for a blow up moment, for people that don't even listen to this type of music. TikTok is the app that you got to use. And people are like, oh, I don't want to watch all the cringy stuff. Well, TikTok is one of the very few. And it's like when Battle Royales came out. Everybody else started doing Battle Royales. Yep. TikTok started doing Reels. Now Facebook and Instagram has Reels because of TikTok, not the other way around. TikTok is the most important and the cheapest organic promotion that you can humanly get as a band. And when I saw how well they were doing online, I'm like, this is perfect. These guys fit the bill. They have a bunch of people from the TikTok universe that don't even listen to metal that are going to come out to shows. And that's what I like. I like having new fans. I mean, Traitors stands are going to come out no matter what. They'll find out about the tour. But I want people at those shows. They're like, man, I've never been to one of these before, and this was amazing. I love, being the gateway to other genres of music, or even the other way around. I mean, Yosemite in Black's probably going to bring people from their their social media success early on, and that's just going to help everybody, obviously. I mean, we've got a very cult fan base. It's wild, especially like not having a label, and being, kind of still independent in a sense. Like, we have a team, but I we're not a part of any labels or anything like that. Just a digital service provider, etc. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, my lady was working, and Yosemite in Black played at the venue, and she's like, man, these guys are awesome. I just saw them live, and you should really consider. I'm like, oh, I know, I've heard of these guys a few times. And that was literally like, it was just like, I let the universe do its job this time. At the same time of me learning, hey, you guys should let us know who wants to do this tour. And I'm like, Crown Magnetar and Yosemite in Black, those are perfect. I've always liked the Crown guys a lot. I know some of them a little bit. We've met in passing a few times. They were just here in Tampa, grinding through tours. So I just feel like it was perfect. I was shooting for a fourth, but it is what it is. I like this. And then we kind of reached out to more locals and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Yosemite's awesome, dude. And the organic promotion game is massive.
Hell yeah. It kind of seemed that way, which made sense to me as well. I was wondering if you guys you knew him personally by any means or whatsoever. Because some people, like you said, you meet at what you call acquaintances on the road, and then be like, it'd be sick to do something with you guys. Like we vibed really well, and some people just get thrown on tours together and then become like good friends because they're like, dude, we had to both open up for so and so. But that's honestly really cool, man. They've got a cool aesthetic. I think that obviously that lineup, when I saw it and I was looking, I was like, dude, this is gonna fuck so hard. Like every single one of these shows is gonna be a war zone.
Yeah,
real loud, real rowdy, real fun. And you guys put on a hell of a live show as well, like you were saying way earlier. You try and be an entertainer, and just from your guys' social media, just gleaning off of that alone, going to a show or not, like you can see that you guys put your all into it and make it a unique experience. And having a band like those two drag along with you is probably only going to exemplify it even more. So, I mean, yeah, hats off, especially because I was looking up, I was like, yeah, these guys are basically independent. They're doing it all on their own. So that's a fuck of a time to have even if you have a manager and a team, to then it's not your label saying like, hey, you're going to play the so-and-so in this town. You're going to play, we did this for you. This is where you're going. Book something. Like you're doing it all on your own, essentially, I'm going to guess. Like, well, as a team, but
yeah. So we tried to do merch on our own for a few years, and honestly, it grew more and more stressful, and we outgrew ourselves. So,
good.
A lot of people were like, dude, where the hell's my merch? I'm like, buddy, I fucking wish I knew. I'm like, let's at least hand this one over to a team that's got it all figured out, because first of all, rather than us, make a few extra bucks, the people deserve customer service hotline 24/7. The people deserve to know where their shit is. And I don't want people yelling at me if their shirt's not there. And now when people hit us up, they're like, hey, what happened to my merch? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's a hotline you can visit. Yes. That feels very good. It feels very freeing. As a musician, I've learned your job is to be the musician. You got to entertain. So I've tried to focus as many efforts as I can on that. So definitely feels good.
You guys are doing it the right way. I'll say it that, because again, it comes back to you, and then you're able to mitigate damage where it happens. Because again, if you're outgrowing yourself, that's a great problem to have. To be able, because touring bands make their money off of merch. We all know that at every level, and like being able to then have that become a positive burden, being like, well, shit, yeah, I guess I don't know where your t-shirt is. Thank you so much for buying it. And then you got more to print and more to do. That's obviously going to be beneficial in the long run. And I think that you guys have a strong head on your shoulders as a unit. It seems obviously that way, because your social media is immaculate. You got all the stuff in the link trees. You're posting the memes, but you're also posting like engaging things. You're talking directly to your audience. It doesn't feel like a PR agent's doing it for them. Like, you guys are coming off organically, and I think it shows. And it's like, again, I've been a fan. Like when this came across our PR wire, we got about like 3 offers, and I was like, all of them sound sick. We're doing Traitors first. Like, no fucking question, because you guys.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's a tough grind, dude. Like honestly, like, will I be doing this when I'm 40 something? I don't know, but I know that when it comes to metal music, no matter if I'm touring or not, I'll probably always produce musical content for Traitors, because I mean, you can do that anywhere. Yeah. I don't have to quit doing that. I can still give the people what they want. It's such a slow grind, and there's so many ways that you can avoid it. And I feel like being independent and just like not having the right image of us, over time, I feel like there's a lot of things that were misconstrued with Traitors' reputation for a long time. We were being represented in a way that doesn't reflect with my beliefs or the way that I want to operate. So, me being in full control of this, and having the positive mindset, I kind of had to really work on rebuilding our reputation and showing people like, hey, we're here to play ball. Like, I'm going to work smart. I'm not going to get taken advantage of, but, we're always looking for new opportunities, and, I'm just keeping my eyes on the prize, man. I mean, it's different for everybody. You see the success of like my buddy, Taylor Barber. He's,
that's awesome.
Basically got something really big lined up right now in his life. And, a lot of people are trying to tear him down for it because the spotlight's on him. So it's easy to get negative press on somebody like that. But realistically, people are having their moments right now, and like I'm 32, turning 33, and mine I've had my first wave with Traitors. We came out with anger issues. We had our wave, a bit of a wave there too. That became a big release, but I'm ready to make another wave and kind of reinvent the wheel here a little bit because, all these big tours going on, all these things I've been involved in. I don't know why it's so difficult to get some dream tour packages lined up. I don't know what the issue is. Even something like the project, like Project Vengeance, for instance. Why haven't all those bands toured together? Why hasn't Lorna and Infant Annihilator toured together with Left to Suffer, Spite, and Traitors underneath it? Why has that not happened? I don't care. I'll open the fucking thing. I feel like if people start getting less worried about where they are on the fucking bill, we'll start seeing some more Dream Tour lineups. Because I will tell you right now, it has 100% is the last say has to go with the band. The band is the boss. The people around them are just employees. So, you got your manager coming and being like, hey, do you guys want to, or your booking agent, hey, do you want to play under this band? Like, fuck no, dude. Fuck no, dude. And it's like, if everybody was willing to play ball and stop crossing their fucking arms because they want an extra $250 or they want, a bit more time, I think we'd start seeing lineups like that. To see, and I've talked to Dickie a million times about it. I'm like, dude, I think Scumfuck we should do a Project Vengeance tour. You bring out Scumfuck. He's like, if we did a Project Vengeance tour, I would probably ask Infinite Annihilator to do it. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, but where does that go? Do these guys headline? Do they not? And it's like that the whole totem pole thing that I just, and Lorna had a really big moment, last year and this year coming into that especially. So you wonder they more than likely want to be up on top still. But yeah, those are just things I want to see. I was trying to make dreams come true with that shit. And I just don't know why there's so many tours that like I see and I'm like, we still haven't gotten Traitors, Body Snatcher, and Spite. That doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't. And dude, I think you're nailing this all on the fucking head. It's sure you can. Let's just look at this on both sides because that's how you make an equal argument. Is that people are like, well, I've earned this spot and like every dollar counts, and I really feel like I fucking worked my ass off. I don't want to be opening a show at 7 p.m. when I've been able to prove that I can play headlining. Take all of that aside because I think you're nailing it on the head, and at every level, like even in not to make it about ourselves, but like even especially in the local market, like we were a thrash metal band. And there's only a few of them here in Omaha that are really putting in the effort, the time, and the money that we are as well. And we never get our fucking butt in a wad if someone's like, we get back with the booking company and they're like, so here's the lineup, and like we're playing first. Okay, like I'm on the show
because then it's like we will play before some other bands, and like I will up my energy, not to, but just to be like, okay, your turn. Like you got to keep it going, bro. You know what I mean? And then like if it doesn't keep going, people are go, hey, I really liked your set. Like, and like I've had numerous people come up and be like, I think you should have been a little later. And I'm like, thank you for that, but I don't care. Like,
yeah, none of that really.
You still came. We had a good time. It shouldn't really matter. Like in the long scheme of it.
And I think it's also a very old school thought to be like, skip the opening band, show up for the headliner. Blah, right. Blah. That's very like, I feel like that's very like 70s, 80s, maybe even, but it's still a mindset nowadays, obviously. And I just don't think it should be because there could be no shortage of great tours. And like I said, making dreams come true is probably the best way to do it because then you're getting to play with people that you really enjoy working with. And then there shouldn't be these egos that get in the way of what could be immaculate progress for fucking everybody. And it doesn't make sense. You guys haven't toured like Body Snatcher. And speaking of all this stuff, like, again, if some people knew it as like the Big Six and now you got Project Vengeance, and where would that, totem pole, the dichotomy of those, it's unfortunate that shit gets in the way. And especially like you said, with people like your friend Taylor Barber, who's again, he's got 7 hours after Violet, and he's doing stuff in Brazil with System of a Down because of Chavo. And like, guy's getting everywhere up there and the spotlight gets on him and then people, the spotlight's on him. Let's tear him down for something he did 8 years ago and apologize for. Like, why?
Right.
What the fuck are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here? Why do you not want better shows? Do you not want better? What do we want?
I'm asking the same question, and it's like, dude, I talk to him a lot, and through all the BS and stuff, it's like the people who want to cause a ruckus online, like the fans that react are like, I can't believe you, for any example, I can't. Mm-hmm. Guess what? That person probably never even probably knew about your band for years and never even listened to a single song. It's just people who like to sharpen their blade and act like they're super important. Yeah. People want to be in control of things.
White knights.
You just got to keep looking past that shit, dude.
Doesn't matter.
They were never going to support you in the first place. And the internet's a silly place where people can make up stories. It's like, oh, I've been a fan for a long time, Taylor. I've come to every show. We don't know if that's fucking true or not.
Right. No idea.
You know what I mean? So I think that shit's silly, and I don't think there's a place for it. The only thing that, obviously there's, any press is good press for somebody. But Taylor's in a position where none of that shit even affects him anyways.
Right.
Right. Who you get, guess who are the ones patting him on the back, telling him you're good, bro. Just keep doing you. All of the people that have helped him with the success that he's in right now. Those are the people who are like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If nobody's dead and nobody's in jail, I don't know what the fucking big deal is anymore. And honestly, it really pisses me off sometimes to see some of the shit, that you see. Even when Traitors got robbed in St. Louis 10 years ago, people were all over the place, especially in anonymous comments on a lot of metal news websites. And they were calling me slurs. I'm like, because we got robbed.
Jesus.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? Someone's like, all that money your parents made, this and that. And when I was younger, I'm like, what the fuck did I do to deserve this? But now, God, dude, you cannot hit me with a mean enough comment to where I wouldn't just I crack up. I crack up at some of these things, dude. I wish I had a funny example, but it's
dude, as a front man, you're going to be the one that's going to have to take some of this. I feel like sometimes, obviously with okay, say you're a comedian, it's you. So if you're getting shit on, even if you have a PR team or a management team, you're reading those comments and be like, so-and-so's a fucking dickhead, and be like, well, that kind of hurts. But it's like, Traitors sucks. Be like, no, we don't. And I guess it could water off the back a little bit, but it's going to come directly at the person doing the interviews, the person that might be, because sometimes, the front man can come in many different forms, obviously, but you're very vocal and you're all over the Instas. So the shots are going to come your way. And
for sure.
It's fucking dumb, dude.
I like it. Well, fireman. Well, fireman. We like the heat.
Yeah.
No, but I honestly, it really bounces off me. People have told me some of the most fucked up things, and I'm like, dude, I feel you, man. I cut, trying to talk to that person, been I've also been through a lot of shit in my life, and I also want to project it onto other people when I'm mad. So bring it on. Unless he was just you went to Massacre River Elementary School, didn't you? Get real fucking personal. I'm like, There's Nardwar, and then there's really evil people who want to see you fucking get ruined. So if
the keyboard warriors
had to source that information,
the ones that do the extra research are the ones that crack me up the most. Since obviously you don't have any real fucking hobbies, and you know what?
Yeah.
So be it.
I'm an internet sleuth. Even the word sounds funny.
Yeah.
But no, I just roll with the punches, dude. I don't let that shit get to me, and it's good to pass it down and just be like, what's this gonna do to your life?
Yeah.
People, it's usually when shit like that happens, about 4 days after that, they're already on to the next one, sharpening their blade. And
100%.
what can you do?
Nothing, man.
What really grinds my gears is, I'm not going to name drop anybody. I'm not, trying to get too direct with the T, if you will. But I saw a band post about one of those situations regarding the Taylor situation specifically too, because obviously all that stuff was coming to fruition, and they were like, if anybody's been affected by this vocalist, by this person, then you need to hit us up. We'll do free guest vocals or free vocal lessons for you guys. We knew all along that he was like this. And it's a band that I've gone along with for a long time. Damn. And I'm like, you stupid motherfucking sons of bitches, dude. I will always back Taylor up in my life. Like I said, if nothing criminal is going on, if nobody's been directly if nobody's hurt, nobody's in jail, bro. I'll always back somebody up, as long as you're not a murderer or terrible other things that we don't need to name in this podcast / interview. But the fact that a band fell into that whole thing and like helped create a victim situation. You talk to half the people that were involved in that, and they're like, I don't know what the hell's going on right now.
Yeah, it's over. And like, I've seen all of the people in that specific situation be as well. Like, I think the guy, whatever his name was, I was like, I was the one that paid for him and didn't get the vocals. And then he was like, yeah, he called me back and was like, dude, my fucking bad. Not only will I do that, here's free tickets to the show. Come backstage. Here's this. Seems like you made amends and you got a lot of stuff on your plate. I mean,
yeah, why don't people call out every single business that's ever fucking existed in the goddamn world? You don't fucking call. Yeah, so I went to this pressure washing business, and these guys need to end their LLC tomorrow because they missed a spot, and it's been like 3 years since they fucking been here. Like, dude, if you want to complain, write a Google review. Like, right? Why people just hate to see people do well in music specifically, and I could go on with this shit for hours.
I think there's definitely something there. Like, it's definitely a weird cultural phenomenon, and I think it deserves to be at least touched on for sure.
Haters means you're doing it right.
Exactly. When you get the level where you get haters, it means you're doing something right, because you're making enough noise for people to know. And who cares if people are hating on it, because there's twice as many people loving it. You know what I mean? And for as many shitty situations as people get into, or all this stuff where people bring up stuff from the past, blah, 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 blah. I don't know, man. I feel like you get to a certain age and a certain maturity where it's just like, why does it matter? Like, sure, I might have said something really terrible in 2004. Okay. Sure, you did too. But like, does it matter?
No. Yeah. For some people, some people's job doesn't require them to not say stupid shit when they were kids.
Right.
Like, nobody here is innocent. We've all said dumb shit. We've all been young. Some of us probably still say stupid shit. Like, as it's like, dude, I mean, I don't even know how to put it. At the end of the day, you hang out with your friend group, you become that friend group. And the comedy that I have with my friends is for my friends only.
Yeah, exactly.
Until I decide to start finally doing stand-up and the hundreds of pages I have written. But yeah, dude, like, I honestly feel like the healthiest thing, especially for the younger people who are coming up in this industry and trying to be musicians, you wouldn't think it, but allowing anonymous comments on these metal news websites is incredibly defaming and damaging. And it's where a lot of I've been threatened. I've been called names that aren't even of my ethnicity or skin color. I've been called terrible things, or we'll see you at this show, bud. You're going to get fucking jumped. Or, there's a news. Oh, hey, this band dropped a new album, and the anonymous comments, it's like, Trump 2024. Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
What are we doing here?
We need to, if we want to, get hits on our website, I feel like it'd be a lot more honest if they had to connect some sort of actual verified social media, so these people can out themselves and stop being tough guys behind a veil. I feel like it's incredibly damaging to for the metal community, because guess who's responding? It's the people that frequent these websites that like the tea and they spread the damage. So it's not really it's not really the people who aren't about that shit. So at the end of the day, obviously stories will always come around and shit like that, but there are ways to put a story out and then not let people further defame and damage. Some of these things, I'm surprised when I see them. I'm like, damn, how are these guys like not about to get hit with a major lawsuit right now for some of the things that they say? It's like, you got to be careful what you're doing, pal.
Yeah, true.
But I feel like that'd be healthier, because when I was a kid and I was reading those comments, they did make me upset. They're like, what have I done? Like, I'm struggle torn in a fucking van every day, and people are telling me to just go home and quit. Like, why? I don't even know who these people are.
Right.
But obviously, like I said, nowadays it bounces off of me, and there is nothing you could say to me that wouldn't just make me laugh so hard. Like, I've heard some pretty insensitive things about me or my band these past couple of years, and it just makes me kind of crack up. I don't know why. It's just my response to it. It doesn't hurt me or make me think about it or like, oh yeah, this guy said this. Like, I don't know. It just feels like whatever to me.
Well, that's good though, man. You've reached that point, and you found your personal center, and I think that's what's best when you're a creative and you're in that kind of vulnerable position 99% of the time. Is finding your center, finding what's important to you, and just letting all that shit, like you said, bounce just off of you. And
100%,
and that's good. So now that you've found that place and you've come full circle, and you've allowed yourself the opportunity to break out of that comfort complacency that COVID kind of washed us all under, dude. I can't wait to see where you guys go next. So yeah, totally hit us up with a link. We'd love to jam to it early if you can.
I think we have a present option in here. That's probably cool. As far as I can go with it, but I would love to show you guys some stuff after we're all said and done here. So
yeah, for sure. Well, any final words for the listeners? Anything you want them to know before we get out of here?
Shit, I've said it a few times this week. If you are listening to this point, chances are you fucking really like Traitors, and I really appreciate that a lot. I think that you guys do deserve more content without it being like just here's more. I'll space it out accordingly and make sure that the heart goes into it. And no matter what pace it comes out as, I feel like we have a clean slate. We're starting new. The machine is re-oiled. I'm still working on rebuilding our reputation in and out of the industry. So if you're listening, I gotta say thanks, man. I've been here for, I've been doing this for 11, 12 years now. And there have been points, especially the past couple of years, where I'm like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is hard. And, I'm still kicking, I'm still doing it. And that's just kind of where I am. Thank you. And thank you guys for having me too. I appreciate that. But just all the listeners out there, man, like just keep finding new Traitors fans for me while I keep finding new Traitors fans. And that's what we're working on. We've been on some amazing festivals this year. It's an honor to be a part of some of the upcoming festivals next year as well. So, just keep your eyes peeled. There's a lot more than just the album coming.
Fuck yeah, man.
Big things happening for Traitors in 2025. Guys, stay tuned. Do not fucking sleep on this, or I'm going to come through the fucking speaker and slap your ass. Thank you for listening to another episode of Metal Massacre. As always, the weirdo with the beardo, the czar of gnar, and Tyler the Intimidator.
Yeah.
Have a great day, guys.
Ty the guy, baby.